Revolutionary greetings, comrades. Zimbabwe is to hold elections in 2023, harmonized elections. Parties are busy campaigning for the 2023 elections. What is interesting is the strategy that ZANU-PF is employing in rural communities. As you know, that ZANU-PF has always retained its support base through coercion, of course, to win rural vote. In the past, they have used the land to win over the support base in rural communities. They will use distribution of food and the farming inputs to rural communities, working through the traditional leadership structures. Now, what they are doing ahead of the 2023 elections is to use war collaborators, IMJIPA, and ex-detainees. You will recall that some few months ago, an announcement was made that all collaborators and ex-detainees should register so that they will be compensated for the role they played during the struggle for national liberation. You will remember all veterans were compensated. In 1997, they were paid 50,000 Zim dollars. At that time, it was a lot of money. Their kids have been, the government is paying for their kids at school. But the war collaborators and ex-detainees were left out. So what they are now using, that is ZANU-PF, in terms of strategy, is to keep pushing this compensation payment. So they do hold meetings either on a Wednesday or on a Sunday in villages. These meetings are called on the pretext of bringing a feedback on how far the compensation payment is at. People were asked to open bank accounts so that their monies would be paid through their bank accounts. You know, villagers would travel to the nearest city or town to open a bank account. In the case of my village where I come from, it's 80 rand per trip to go to the city. So by two, a return ticket for one to go and open a bank account in the city. And of course, when you open a bank account in the city, you need to have some cash, which of course villagers are struggling to raise this money. But they to go to the city to open a bank account, they have to go through the verification process. So what they are now saying, ZANU-PF, is that all collaborators and the ex-detainees who are supposed to be receiving this compensation fund, they have to establish cells in their villages. You know that the cells play a key role during elections, and the ZANU-PF mobilizes around cells. It builds its political structures through cells. So if therefore villagers are asked to set up cells as political structures, these then fit into the ZANU-PF political structures because these are overseen by the ZANU-PF commissariat. And so even if you do not like ZANU-PF or you don't want to vote for them, but because you want to be compensated, people are now told now and then, maybe once or twice a week, to attend meetings on the pretext of giving feedback. But these meetings are simple propaganda. People are told the propaganda by ZANU-PF because in the case of my village, people that call these meetings or convene these meetings are ZANU-PF members or ZANU-PF leaders in the community. So this is a strategy that ZANU-PF is using for 2023 elections to mobilize ex-detainees, war collaborators in the villages to set up these structures ahead of the 2023 elections in the name of paying them compensation for their role that they played or for their role during the liberation struggle. Because to them, ZANU-PF and government is one thing, the state is ZANU-PF, that's to them. So if government pays, it is simple ZANU-PF that has paid out this money, and therefore people have been told that if they do not vote for ZANU-PF, this fund is going to dry up. So they are delaying tactics in paying out this compensation fund so that people get to elections. So they would then be using this during election campaign, as it has already started, that you need to retain ZANU PF in power so that you are able to receive your payment. I will talk later on about other political parties, but from the information that I've gathered as I've been engaging lots of people, this is what is happening. Please share with us what is happening in your own area where you are. Are you a registered voter? And again, people in this village, there were very few that registered to vote. We need to have two constituencies for Umzingwane constituents because it is only one. We need to have Umzingwane North and the Umzingwane South so that we have proper representation in parliament. Please share your views with us. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. Otherwise, Amandla, comrades.